welcome you to the next segment of this Grandest Lan, where I'm joined by Jibbly. Hey.
Hello, Mordred.
How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing really well. I'm excited to see exactly what has been happening here. Just going over to the player map mode so we can take a very quick zoomed out look at the world as it stands at the moment. And certainly since we were casting the very first session, this hat keeps on falling off. I'm determined to do one of these streams with the proper hat. But since the last stream that we were covering yesterday at the very beginning of the day, stuff's happened.
Yeah, a lot of players have seemed to move. We've got a lot of people in India. We've got a lot of people down in Africa. We're going into the New World now. There have been several Exodus nations. Scotland is primarily New World. They are currently in a player war, but I believe that is an alliance situation.
Yeah, I think that's because Scotland is still allied to France, and France is being attacked by somebody. Or they were being attacked. Hang on, they're still in the fight.
I think it's the Hesse Dithmarschen situation, and Dithmarschen is very, very teeny tiny. I believe they only have the one province left.
Oh, there they are. Not at all where I expected to see them. Okay, interesting. So Cleve is now about to be cleft as Dithmarschen is dying. Oh yes, the puns are back. Meanwhile, we did just see the demise of the Swiss against the Papal States. And a lot of talk about Scilly and what they were going to gain from the war. And I do think I agree with Florry and Mathieu's assessment that it's not looking good for Scilly. I do kind of think their decision there a little bit questionable. Whoa, Serbia. Serbia's looking beefy.
Yeah, big Serbia followed the Ottomans. We've got Holland taking over basically almost all of that trade node up there in the English Channel, which is
I'm guessing Wales is one of their vassals. It is indeed. So they basically own the British, or they own the English-Scottish mainland. They still need to take over a bit more of Ireland, though they do have the crossing point in Ulster, so they control that strait. Silly situation is indeed silly. Yes.
Nice to see Tunis formed by Tlemcen. Sus is back out, released, I believe, by their friends Andalusia.
Who was that, sorry?
So Sus was
Sus.
Yesterday. They
right,
were
Sus
completely, they were completely eaten, and I believe that they were released by their allies, Andalusia and Tunis.
Yeah, and they are being played by Sus. And one of the other things that we did hear previously, which I don't know has come up as a video yet, but the Emperor has offered a bounty for the successful release of Ferrara, because our friends in Warsangli, who are the exiles from Ferrara, are looking to go home. They want the Ferrara freedom. So there is a bounty out against the Pope right now, and considering how many friends the Pope seems to be making, that could mean something. Speaking of the Pope making friends, do we have a Reformation yet? No. Got to be getting close to that though. 1508 as the clock ticks over. In fact, if we just go and click on a nation, let's choose the Pope. Let's see what the Reform Desires are. Reform Desire is at a whopping 125. Oh, there it is, 91%. So it's ticking up, it's getting closer, but it's not there yet. The other question was institutions and whether colonialism would be appearing at all. It is definitely gone 1500, but I do believe that one of the requirements is to have a colonial nation, and there are no colonial nations yet. Because Scotland bodily moved over to the New World, so they are not a colonial nation. So I think the one that may be able to form it would be Gotland, although if their capital is in Bermuda, does that make them American?
It would make them American, but the issue is here, can they colonize, make a colonial nation down in South America? And is that where they are heading? Because they are currently staying in the Caribbean, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it massively makes sense for them to be colonizing as much of the Caribbean as they can. It is a very wealthy area. It is an area dominated by navies, and it is pretty much impossible to invade if you have naval superiority. So I think that is going to be the direction they go in. Whether they particularly care about anyone else spawning that institution, I don't know. Does Norway still exist? Because we might see an AI colonial nation. No, because Gotland owns Iceland, and is also colonizing Greenland, which is another of the skipping across areas. So who else could feasibly do this? Let's actually just do a very quick look through the different nations, which ideas they've taken. So Tibet has gone quantity religious, Provence has gone quantity trade, Punjab's gone quality economic, Orissa's gone economic quality, quality economic, so not many deviations from kind of the meta. Sus, aristocratic exploration. Okay, I stand corrected. So Sus has gone exploration.
Have they transferred anywhere over yet? Because Scotland's gone Explo expansion, which is to be expected.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Sus actually. They do have a colonist out. Where is he? And why am I not seeing a colonist? Oh wow, somebody must have this. I want to see the colonists, please. Colonists. There they are. So Pembuxco. So they are going into South America right now.
Smart, because no one is there yet. So
Right.
if they can kind of hop in there.
So we may be seeing the Sus Exustus. I tried to make it work, but
It wasn't great. It was not great. Not great.
So where was I at? Sus. Swabia, what have they taken? Divine and economic, nice. Ryzan quality, they are lacking behind in the ideas department. Papal, on the other hand, have got offensive and trade, and they have finished them both. Papal State's looking really strong. We're going to need to do a comparison of the development everyone has. I would not be surprised if the Papal States are top.
Papal States only needs 5 more provinces, I believe, to form Kingdom of God.
Oh, nice. They're getting very, very close then. Try the Exorcist. There you go. That works better.
That was pretty good.
So we've got Moldavia with trade and quantity. That's an interesting combo. I think that gives them production or goods produced. Poland's gone innovative quality. Nice. Scotland has gone exploration expansion. Persia's quality economic. Akanulu is aristo. Whoa. One idea.
Yeah. They've been struggling, though. They were just losing a war. I believe they just came out of bankruptcy.
Okay. Yeah, it's not looking great for them.
What's their ruler situation? It's a 252. It's nothing great, but...
Then we've got Al Horso's actually not much better with 3 ideas. Quantity and trade, while Sungli has got some... Wait, no, Somali. Economic and quality. Andalusia's got exploration and aristo, so Andalusia is another potential colonizer. Let's see where they are at the moment. They are in Tenerife. So they are mostly just doing the coastal stuff kind of in close to Europe as opposed to trying to push abroad just yet. Tunis with economic quantity. Hess with offensive innovative. Oh, I like that.
In regards to tech, it looks like Wallachia is our world leader at a 999. Livonia pretty close, 998. Persia 899. So no one has hit Tech 10 yet, but it is 1508, so we still have a little bit of time.
Livonia, meanwhile, innovative qualities. They're going for that infantry combat ability. We've got Serbia with aristo only. Wallachia with quality innovative. Silesia with defensive economic. Scotland with exploration expansion. So Scotland is going to be trying to take as much of the New World as they can before anyone else goes to rival them. Mutapa, meanwhile, with quality expansion. Mutapa, of course, in Africa. So they don't actually need to explore any of this. They just need to colonize it. So expansion for them does make sense. Mallorca. Who was Mallorca?
Are they a player?
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting. I thought that they were a Frankfurt vassal.
Frankfurt is Mallorca.
Oh.
They became Mallorca.
Oh.
Do they still own Frankfurt?
Let's
or have
find
they actually
out.
just moved to...
They were the chosen one from
Nope.
the Emperor for
Frankfurt's
a while.
gone to Hesse with its 34 development. I could have sworn it was higher than that. Yeah, they are now in Mallorca, so they are joining the naval game. And what were their ideas? That is the thing I was looking at. They've gone exploration expansions. They are planning to do a bit of Exmodus. No, I can't make that one. One of these it will work. Then we've got Silly, that's offensive economic. We've got, haha, how the hell do you say that? Chavchuvori?
That is the
That's the
host.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's-
is the
yep, yep,
nobody
yep.
touch it.
Then we've got Pomerania, that is quantity innovative. We've got Hamburg, which is quantity economic. We've got Lubeck, which is quality economic. Holland, that is quality economic. Wow, these are all just meta choices. Then, oh no, wait, is meta still quantity economic? Or is it quality economic these days?
Quality. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah, and then we got Aachen, who are quality economic as well. So
Well, we've got
not many
Hostile with
differentiations
quant
for
and
them.
trade. They seem to be expanding pretty nicely.
Horsa doing definitely good, taking over more of Saudi Arabia, pushing down into Oman, possibly going for Yemen. Are they friendly with the Mamluks?
Let's find out. No.
No, they're not.
They are not.
Cannulu is allied to the Mamluks, but they're the only ones.
It's pretty strong.
In fact, they're at war right now, so no, they're not friendly. That answers that one. So yes, I reckon Horsa is going to be going down into Yemen potentially. In fact, that is where their army is right now. So, nailed it.
Nailed it. Oh, Warsangali has taken Indian vassal. Interesting. So they're probably trying to nab some trade there.
Interesting indeed. Yep, they have gone down into Ceylon, taking Kot.
I wonder how the Indian players are going to deal with that, because I have been speaking to them and I was told that they have sort of already pre-partitioned India and seem to have their borders kind of already figured out, but there is a pretty big Tibet.
There is a pretty, well, yeah, there is a very big Tibet, but Maywar and Orissa are further north. They would have to go through both Bahmanis and Vijayanagar. So there is a bit of an AI buffer between them and the vassal of Kot. So you never know. Rasangli might actually be trying to get to like Indonesia, using Kot as a jumping stage.
Could be. Ming's still going pretty strong.
Ming is still going pretty strong.
Surprised none of the Indians have sort of popped over all that rich Ming money.
Well, I think the Indians are still relatively new, having recently moved there from other deceased nations.
Do we know which nations?
I think that Ferrara was... No, Ferrara's Horsa. Maywar was... You're going to have to help us out here, chat. You guys have been watching this longer than we have. So who has done what? And also, yeah, Aachen apparently has 900k gold.
Wow.
Yep, 915,000.
Blue Flames Provence, Scotland, Hesse.
Interesting.
Holland. Oh.
Yeah, this is kicking off. So let's just go to the diplomatic map mode so we can take a quick look. So we do indeed have Holland. This seems to be a carving up of France, potentially. This was a Provence versus France war. On the Provence side, we've got Hesse, we've got Holland. And that's it. And then on the French side, we've got Scotland. Scotland's in the New World. They're just doing this because they're allies with France. I don't think they're actually going to do anything about this one.
Yeah, I think Holland just wants to take the rest of Dutch Britain. Not much England left at this point.
In fact, French Britain too.
Yeah. Excellent.
No. Oh, Holland is a coalition. Interesting. Who's in that coalition? Oh no, my coalition mode's gone.
Oh no.
Imperial is not useful.
In the coalition against Holland is tiny little Dithmarschen, tiny little Dortmund, Gelre, Desmond.
France, Swabia. Oh no, those are the people that could be.
Not quite in it yet, but they're going to be truced after this war, so I highly doubt all those little OPMs are going to deck that.
I mean, they could have been a little problematic, France, Swabia, and Austria, had they chosen to go that path.
I wonder how Swabia is doing, recuperating after their Switzerland war.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Swabia after their backstab of Switzerland. Like, Switzerland put up a valiant defense, and I'm sure that the northern German coalition is going to be looking at them going, didn't like that.
And Switzerland is still a player, so I wonder what they're necessarily attempting to do. How do they plan on coming back from that?
Heck yeah. You know, I actually have a massive appreciation for players that stick with their nations, even if all hope seems lost. Like, that peace deal was horrible. They are now split into 4 different areas. The northern quadrant, the southern quadrant, the eastern quadrant, and you can probably guess it, the western quadrant. However, if they can do enough diplomacy, if they can maybe make some overtures to the Northern German Alliance, then maybe Switzerland can become Swabia.
That's sort of depending on what the Pope is going to do.
It really does depend on the Pope.
Yeah, Papal States really, they've stuck to their guns by saying no one comes into Italy. So I don't think at this point, plus they have a very strong alliance web, I really don't think that they're going to allow that to come back.
I'll move my microphone, see if that makes it a bit better. I usually have it back a bit because I like to have a drinky or two while I'm streaming, but I'm not using a cup at the moment. It's a bottle, which has a narrow neck.
War is thirsty work, chat. War is thirsty work. Provence right now being sieged down by France. Oh no, they're coming in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of French units on the Provencian border, but considering the entire border of France basically is Provence, a struggle between them was kind of inevitable.
They're a very long country.
They are. They're basically the historical Lotharingia at this point. people were kind of joking about that when they went after Burgundy. And it's like, well, they need a bit more, and they got that bit more.
Uh-oh, here comes France.
Here comes more French, 44,000 against 25,000. And yeah, Provence have noped out of that one. And France do have another 24,000 down in the south, so the French are kind of beefy. Big blue blob is definitely rather big. Although the French Navy did just lose to the Dutch Navy, so I think that British France is basically, or French Britain, is basically gone.
Yeah, the carving up of Iberia definitely allowed France to get a little foothold here, but I think at this point they're kind of sandwiched between several pretty strong nations. They're going to get carved up here pretty soon.
Which alliance block is Provence in?
Provence is with Hesse, Pomerania, Papal States, and Holland. They're sort of playing both sides, actually pretty smart. They've got...
Yeah. I mean, they are so long and thin that they kind of are falling in both spheres of influence. It just depends. Like, if those two coalitions go to war with each other, whose side do you think they would pick?
Tough call. Papal States seems very strong, but North Germany is also got quite a bit going on there.
I mean, if they really are trying to create the historical Lotharingia, historically I believe Italy was in Lotharingia, so maybe they would fall in the anti-Papal States coalition. Because they kind of fancy themselves as Italian. I don't know.
Oh, I just realized we now have locked ledger. Okay, okay. Secrets for us.
See how much information this still gives me. Oh, I can still sort by development. We're fine. That's the important one. Papal States were first. Called it.
Italy, lots of money.
Papal States are looking really, really strong. Really strong.
Wondering what's going to go on between Tunis and Papal States.
I don't know. Tunis seems to be more interested in going into Africa and basically just becoming Africa. Like, they're going to be smashing into the Central and Western African states. I think a bigger question will be when Tunis comes up against Mamluks, Ethiopia, Wasangli. What will happen then? Will they embrace Wasangli as maybe a trade partner? Because I think that Wasangli does have some trade capabilities, particularly if they do go Somalia. But then again, does Tunis just want to be the absolute hegemon? I'm not sure. People asking about the money situation. Who is the wealthiest of them all?
It's got to be
It is the
Papal
Papal States. Yeah. Wait, why is France showing up as a player? Oh, because I've clicked something. So yeah, Papal States in first. Pretty dominant lead with a distant and yet still triumphant second place with Holland. And then there is another even bigger gap to next place, which is Livonia. And then all the others kind of filter in from there. Livonia, Serbia, Switzerland. Still fifth. They are still an incredibly wealthy nation. I think that's because they still have Tyrol, right?
Have they retained it?
Which province is the gold one again?
Intal. They have Intal.
It's above where I was looking. Yep, they do indeed still have the gold province, so it was not taken. It was not given to Swabia, interestingly.
That must have been the long peace deal pause that they were probably struggling to, yeah, retain their gold.
So Holland does have troops here, so they are assisting the Provencal units. Who else was here? Hesse. Do we see any Hesse? Yes, Hesse is here too. And obviously Provence is fighting bravely against the French too.
Curious to see why Scotland has retained their alliance with France.
I think they're just kind of holding out hope that maybe the old alliance can achieve something.
Maybe stop a coalition for all of the natives that they're attacking. They seem to be spreading pretty well throughout Florida.
Yeah, they do. Carving into the native territories. I don't know if they've actually gone up against any of the natives just yet, because they would be up against the federations otherwise. No, Scotland is attacking. Oh no, that's that is that French war. Never mind.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ryzan, very large expansion after that war this morning. I was watching that and I was very concerned for them for a second, but they pulled through.
So do we reckon Ryzan Russia?
I assume so. I'm pretty sure. I do know that they are going to probably try to expand. I was speaking to them to the east, so we'll see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Livonian Order has actually formed Livonia now. That I think they probably already had, it just hadn't triggered that in my own mind. Does that change their ideas? Livonian traditions, discipline, max promoter cultures are the capstone of goods produced. 15% infantry combat ability to dev cost morale of armies. Oh, this is a good combo. Trade power abroad. Stability. I do want a French fry. Thank you.
Yes, I would like a French fry.
Have a second one.
Thank you.
Taking a second one.
We missed lunch, chat.
Yeah. Yesterday we missed dinner. Today we're missing lunch. The things we do for you.
Maybe we shouldn't call them French fries anymore now that France is going to be probably carved up.
Fries.
Do we think that Livonia is going for a Prussia formation?
Livonian colonization, colonial range and settler increase. Right, because historical Livonia did colonize. Morale of navies. Well, I really like these ideas. What? How have I never seen this before? Is Livonia one of the new ones from Line to the North?
I believe so.
That would be why.
But they haven't taken any colonizing, have they?
Not yet, no. Innovative quality. They might get some colonization through their mission tree. Yeah, colony of the Caribbean, colonize North America, discover the New World, colonial ambitions, which requires them to have colonialism or quest of the New World. So as long as they get colonialism, as long as anybody gets colonialism, then we may well see a colonizing Livonia, which would be interesting because they're not badly positioned for it, getting to Canada or something like that.
They're looking very nice right now, but their only ally is Gotland, and they are in a bit of a position right now between several of the larger powers.
They are indeed, and I still kind of wonder at this alliance between Livonia and Gotland. Because I know Gotland was gunning for Scandinavia, and now Livonia basically has taken it all. So I guess that the focus for Gotland has now changed, and they're going to go for the Caribbean, in which case, yeah, that could work. Maybe they have an agreement in the future where Livonia gets Scandinavia, and Gotland moves wholesale to the Caribbean.
Could be. As far as great powers go, right now, the only player nations that are on the GP list are Papal States at 4th, Ryzan at 5th, Tunis at 6th, Holland at 7th, and Serbia at 8th, but there's still AI, Ming, France, and MAMS. I assume that they'll be probably destroyed relatively soon.
Looking at this, Livonia is only actually 2 points behind Serbia, so there's quite a few nations within spitting distance of that 8th spot. So yeah, some competition for the great powers at the moment. Look at France. France is an AI and it's dying. Like
yeah, France will very soon be not France.
Yeah, France is a big player coalition fighting against them. It's not going to be France for long. 35,000 manpower. Is that Livonia? Yeah. Yeah, Livonia is strong. Like, they're going to be one to watch. I am actually a little bit concerned for Gotland because of that. If this alliance holds, great. But will it?
I assume, since that is their only ally, that they must have done some, you know, really great diplomacy, because otherwise I would be a little scared if I was Gotland.
Yep. Yep, for sure. So what else has been going on? Andalusia still not taking Iberia. They're actually slowed right down since we saw them last. So Portugal is actually a vassal. Leon is not. Castile is not. Aragon is not. So why have they not been a bit more aggressive in taking those nations and bringing them underfoot, I wonder? I mean, they have formed Andalusia, which is obviously a step up from Granada. Wow, I am losing my ability to speak. But yeah, this does feel slow to me.
Maybe they were so preoccupied helping the SUS release that they sort of had to slow down in order to manage that, but...
Yeah, but I think SUS being released was a Tunis thing. I don't know that Granada necessarily was involved.
I believe that they were. I believe that that was sort of the North Africa alliance of players.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they do have a bit of a tripartite going on.
Meanwhile, we have Persia out, and they seem
so
to...
Let's take a look at Persia, actually. Oh, whoa, 1,800 ducats is good. 14,000 manpower, that's looking a little bit low. They are working on... Well, they have a bunch of Persian missions available. They've got 3 of them that could be triggered, but they have not yet done so.
As far as colonies go, right now I think the only colonizing nation is Scotland. Scotland has moved fully over.
Scotland, SUS.
Oh, SUS, I forgot. They're in South America.
And there was one other. Andalusia. But Andalusia, I think, is going to go for Africa. No, because then that's going to be tripping on Tunis's toes. Where is Andalusia going to go? Where are they going now? Still doing Tenerife, but that is almost finished. So we're going to need to go and have another look at Andalusia once Tenerife is done. Are there any AIs that could start colonizing? Like Norway may start. Gaeldom may start. Oh, hey, Gaeldom's appeared. Nice. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to check. Did Scotland keep Scottish ideas? Or did they... No, they stayed Highlander. Good choice. I quite like the Highlander ones.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the Isles expand as much as they did and then just shift over.
Yeah, they just kind of collapsed. I'm actually, like, probably of all the changes that I've seen so far that have happened since I last streamed and now that I'm back, Britain is probably the really big one.
Oh, Ryzan's fighting Moldavia, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Take a look at that. Thank you.
Big
Ryzan,
one.
Moldavia. Yeah, that is a lot of troops marching in. Moldavia, Lithuania, and Poland versus Ryzan and Astrakhan.
Ooh.
Poland is a player. Lithuania is a vassal of Poland.
They are surrounded. Wow.
And Serbia and Bulgaria also in the war against Moldavia. So this might not be great for the Moldavian-Polish. Poland may be rethinking their alliances here. Was that the only alliance that they had? Moldavia, Pomerania, Lubeck. No, it's not. So I don't think Poland-Lithuania is going to be in trouble. So Tinto is safe. But Moldavia may be having some cause for concern.
Are we
Does
seeing
look
any...
like they're raising mercenaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are. And then troops flooding in from the north. Do we have many forts around here? Nope, none.
No, but they're going in right now on the siege in Bessarabia, so...
Yeah, they got a couple of forts in the south. Two of them on the border of Bessarabia and then one in Crimea. We do have our first battle, 18,000 against 40,000. Those Moldavian troops are not very good compared to the Bulgarians. They're getting absolutely caned. 110% discipline against 105, 3.7 morale against 3.9. And Moldavians do have the better artillery line. 3-star general against a 2-star.
Moldavia is currently hiring mercs like crazy.
Yeah, I think Moldavia has basically realized that they have to go all in order to survive. So Moldavia did win the fight. Bulgaria was sent packing despite a little bit of a shaky early couple of rolls there. Meanwhile, Ryzan just conquering away up in the north. So I wonder what the deal here is going to be. I guess that Bulgaria is going to be... Wait, Bulgaria's AI. I thought it was a vassal.
Mm-mm.
Huh. In that case, what does Serbia gain from this? Because in my eyes, for Serbia, Moldavia is a very nice buffer state between them and Ryzan, who's soon going to be forming Russia. So why would you want to see that buffer state destroyed when you have nothing to gain from it?
Maybe they want to take the coastline.
Possibly? But would Ryzan really be willing to give that up?
I don't know. Some of the player diplomacy, you know, there are some nations that you talk to and, you know, they'll tell you everything. But when I was trying to speak to Ryzan about any of their plans and their diplomacy, they would not tell me anything. They said everything was secret, but they have big, big plans. As far as Serbia, I don't know anything.
Interesting. So Silesia, we have just been told, will be switching to Diviet.
Ah, okay. Oh, here we go.
And it is, in fact, happening.
It is happening right now. Which will be, I think, our farthest eastern player nation.
Unfortunately, I'm still tapped in with Moldavia, so I can't go and have a look. As soon as we finish loading here, I'll explode the map and see what Diviet's deal is.
What's exciting is that now that we have more of these Asian nations that will maybe be a counter to Ryzan, who I know is trying to expand that way. They still have to make it all the way through the steppes. Curious to see what Persia's plans are as well.
Okay, so
oh, Nepal is formed. Excellent.
Oh, from Tibet.
Mm-hmm.
That is a power move.
Yeah.
Because Nepal have a really strong military. That would actually be an interesting player seed now, Nepal. So you could have Mewat, Orissa, and Nepal fighting over India.
I think that they've already sort of split up India. I think that they're actually allied.
Yeah, but Nepal's not player, is it?
Yes. Yeah. Nepal's
So
they were Tibet. Yep. I believe that I forget which nation they were originally.
So there's actually 5 nations in India right now. We've got Nepal, we've got Punjab, which I'd totally forgotten about, Mewar, Orissa, and then Kut, which is the Wasangli vassal. And now we've got Diviet also.
Who has allied Bengal? That seems like a very scary place to be, unless that's just a carryover from the AI.
That might well be a carryover. Yeah, they've got the one. They're a tributary of Ming, so they themselves shouldn't be under threat. Anyway, back over to Moldavia, because we've got the... Interestingly, Moldavia's pushing into Bulgaria.
They are currently being sieged down, so...
Yeah, I mean, all the territories that are being sieged at the moment don't have forts, so it's just free space. But why are they spending time going up to Bulgaria? We do have a couple of Serbian troops in the area, 17,000, but it doesn't look like Serbia's investing too heavily in this conflict, particularly because Serbia right now is at war with the Ottomans. And while the Ottomans are an absolute shadow of their former self, that's definitely more in Serbia's interest, is to take out more of Anatolia and Greece.
Oh, we've got a battle right now.
53,000 Bulgarians against 56,000 Moldavians. So the numbers roughly equal, but the Moldavian army definitely showing its capabilities here. They do seem to have lost 5% discipline somewhere along the line. And they're on -3 stability.
Interesting that they are focusing the Bulgarian-Serbian war while they are...
Yeah, I don't really understand their strategies here right now.
Maybe they just want to pick the war that they can win, but Serbia doesn't seem to be too committed to that, so...
I don't know. I still question, like, what has Serbia got to gain from it? I don't understand. Are they doing this purely just to keep Ryzan happy? It's just a dual fight against this? But again, they don't benefit. And Moldavia is making some very questionable decisions about fighting this. It's like, yeah, let's go fight the AI. Because the fort in Crimea, it'll hold out for a bit longer, but there are 2 fairly sizable Ryzan armies in the gap between them. Let's just take a very quick look at the state of Ryzan's military. They are sitting at 110% discipline. They do have 5% more than Moldavia. And their morale is 3.5 against Moldavia's 2. So they got 1.5 more morale than Moldavia. Yeah, Moldavia is screwed. They cannot fight Ryzan. Bulgaria is a player. Oh, it is a player.
Oh. Oh,
It wasn't just me who missed that. It was not just me.
No, I didn't see it either. Okay, well, that's...
okay.
Oh, Wallachia. Right.
Yep,
Wallachia into Bulgaria.
I did actually know that.
Yep.
So they are at war with 3 different players right now, with just Poland, Lithuania as an ally, and Poland is just drilling in their land at the moment.
Oof.
Tinto, you got to act better with your allies.
That's
So
a
we've got another
backstab.
fight. We've got 20,000 Moldavians against 30,000 Bulgarians, and this time it does look like the Bulgarians are going to get the better odds. Another 10k just stepped in, and that is a GG for whoever nation this was, Moldavia.
Meanwhile, Constantinople being sieged down by the Ottomans. Looks like Serbia is finally
Moving in to
rejoining
engage
that.
them, 18,000 against 14. We will then see the mettle of the Serbian troops. They have got 105 discipline against 105. 4.3 morale. That's even more than Ryzan. And the Ottoman armies are usually no pushover either. I think the Ottomans may win this one simply by numbers. Nope, they won. The Ottomans backed off. Because that was a defensive fight, although Constantinople's farmland, so you don't get any benefit from it. Meanwhile, Bulgaria has pushed north, and there we go. We have an unconditional capitulation to the Bulgarians by Moldavia. Looking, I think, to empower Bulgaria and give the middle finger to Ryzan. Although these are 2 separate wars, so there will be probably 2 separate pieces from this.
But there is a Serbian-Ryzan alliance, so I assume Bulgaria is probably going to try to work some dip in there as well, considering they're sort of in between.
Yeah, this is very much, maybe Serbia is trying to empower Bulgaria and just kind of being a good friend. Because as far as I know, Serbia and Wallachia, as they were, have been friendly from the start. Bulgaria go for Romania, possibly. Why is Poland not going into Hungary? I don't know. The fact that Austria-Hungary is still as strong as it is, with as many large Germanic nations and Slavic nations around them, is a bit of a question. Like, considering especially the comparison against France, which is looking rather hopeless right now.
Yeah. I had been told that Austria was a target of several of the German nations, and I guess after that Silesian War, then maybe they sort of put the brakes on that. They did get ripped in half, so could be. Moldavia did not lose any land to Ryzan there.
No.
So what was that about?
So was that Ryzan just trying to help Bulgaria out?
I believe so. That's what it looks like.
It does. So Moldavia kind of got off lucky. I was really expecting Ryzan to just be like, I need my Black Sea ports, acting kind of like Russia, and saying, I need this land. But they're not Russia yet, so maybe they're not quite Russian to get that land.
They're very close, though, Ryzan. All they need is Admin Tech 10, so where are they at on that?
In fact, if we take a look, they are currently in Admin 7, so they've got another 3 levels to go. But we are now capable of getting to level 9. Although, still no colonialism. Like, has it at least spawned yet? Nope.
Nope. Interesting.
1512, no colonialism. I wonder, is it going to be possible for printing press to appear before colonialism? No, colonialism has to have been done in order for printing press. Yeah. No, Suscan too. So, because it's possible for Asiatic nations to get it. The only European ones are printing press and Renaissance. Talking to the producer here. So we just take a look at colonialism. Yeah, Renaissance must be in Europe, Asia, or Africa.
Moldavia is now bankrupt. I'm wondering if Poland is going to attempt... Oh, no, they're allied. Never mind.
Is Moldavia bankrupt because they took all the money out? No, they only have 7 loans. They are losing 6 ducats a month. Oof. 7 to interest.
They also have looming disasters happening. Where are they going? Internal conflicts?
Yeah, and that's ticking up rather quickly. 2.5 because they have little religious unity. Stability is still at -3. How did they get their stability down that low? Like, that's usually only if you do like no CB wars or if you truce break.
Maybe because of the uncon. Maybe they took some stab hits.
No, because they had that already as the war was going on.
Ah, yes, yes. Wish there was a history.
They went bankrupt.
Well.
There you go.
We do have...
Wait, so they went bankrupt and they are now already 8.3 ducats with interest and getting 8 loans? That's not a good look, guys.
Oh.
How could they save the money from that? I don't think they can. Army maintenance is already on 0. Their fleet doesn't really cost them anything. They are rooting out corruption, which they arguably shouldn't be doing, but that would still only earn them an extra ducat. And they're also converting. Yeah, Moldavia's about to go double bankrupt.
It's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very difficult to recover. And I think it would actually now be in Poland's interest to go after Moldavia in case their neighbors do.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of reconquest there. Andalusia going into Aragon and Castile, so finally a little bit of expansion from them.
Finally going for the Iberian nations. I'm also noticing that there is a very neat border on the edge of France into Iberia. So maybe the German nations have an agreement already with Andalusia saying, these are the borders, we're not going to go any further south than this. Not wanting to irritate the tripartite in the south, especially with the rising power of Tunis. And I do kind of, oh, you know what, I reckon this is probably some more long-distance diplomacy, where they see Tunis as a rival to the Papal States, so they're going to do what they can to not piss off the African 3 nations, that they then go and attack the Papal States, allowing the North Germans to also do the same.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Andalusia is actually going to peace out, take the provinces, and then declare on France, while France is already completely slaughtered, just to draw their borders there.
I would imagine that's probably true, yeah. I think they would. And Lucia's European. Technically, but it is an Islamic state, and they are aligned with the North Africans, hence we're lumping them in with the North Africans. They're sieging Roussillon. True. Yeah, it is about to fall. French armies are still hanging out in Navarra and Vizcaya. But Roussillon is one of those nations. Is it in France? Is it in Spain? Could go either way. Historically, it often did. Like, if you ever go to that region, there's about 1 million castles, because it was just this constantly fluctuating border between France and Spain. It's currently French. Meanwhile, any other wars of interest going on? So Provence, we know, is going after France. Punjab is doing what?
Orissa
Punjab's currently fighting against Bahmanis.
is having some issues right now.
Orissa is indeed having some issues with separatists rising up, though they have more than enough troops to be able to deal with that. They are also in the war against the Bahmanis, so I reckon that this is Punjab helping Orissa expand, because Orissa has moved pretty deeply into Bahmanis. So I think that is going to be occurring.
Daviet has expanded south.
Yeah, they're going to be blocked a little bit by Utaya. Utaya is almost 50,000 manpower.
But they don't have any players necessarily stopping their expansion. If they can do some diplomacy with India, they should be A-OK to go north into Ming.
That might well be why Daviet kept their alliance with Bengal, if that is indeed true that they still have. Yes, they have. Although Bengal at the moment is being attacked by Jaunpur, so...
Bengal is not a player. Double checking. No, okay.
No, they're not.
Excellent.
This would actually be a really interesting Thunderdome. Punjab, Jaunpur, Bengal, Mewar, Orissa, possibly one of Vijayanagar or Bahmanis, and then I guess Kot.
Who is a vassal of Borsangali, so...
They have outside help. They'll be rather more difficult to strike against. I'm also a little bit surprised that nobody was put into Ethiopia. I thought maybe that's just because Ethiopia is too big at this stage.
Could be Warsangali's path of expansion, because Mutapa seems to be eating up the coast into Kilwa. Wondering if they have a Zulu...
I'm still really surprised that nobody was put into West Africa before Tunis spread that far south. Like, I would have expected maybe a Ouagadougou or Jolof or Timbuktu, but I guess now it's too late. You wouldn't be able to put a player there. But perhaps instead of going into India, you could get, I don't know, Congo? Oh, hang on. Who's this? Mutapa. Wait, is Mutapa?
Mutapa is a player.
Mutapa's got expansion. Not exploration, though. Yeah, I just saw that they're in South Africa now.
Yep.
Speaking of colonization, Andalusia, where did you go? Barbados. We are going to see some competition
in the Caribbean.
For the Caribbean. And if they manage to get the 5 cities that they need in order to form a colonial nation, then Andalusia will spawn colonialism.
Persia is not Zoroastrian. They are Shia.
They were talking about trying to become Zoroastrian because they did keep that one Zoroastrian province as Zoroastrian. Don't know if that's still true.
Currently having... Oh, yep, they're spawning their Zoroastrian rebels. That's their goal. That's what they're going for.
Ah, yes, you're right. Well spotted.
Excellent.
I was like, I don't actually know where Zoroastrian, but it says right there.
Let's see.
They don't need 5 provinces to get colonialism, just 1 will do. They need to get a colonial nation, don't they? Fairly sure I'm not wrong, otherwise Bermuda would have spawned it when Gotland took it.
Are there any other colonizers right now besides the ones that we've already identified?
Any own province in North America, South America, New World? No, you are right.
Cheeky pause, wonder what that is about. There are no player wars currently, so I wonder...
So yeah, it should spawn soon. But Gotland's capital was in Bermuda by the time 1500 hit, so they were no longer eligible. Aha! Chat showing the knowledge.
Thank you, chat.
Mordred Viking has 0 game knowledge. I mean, some of this is kind of esoteric.
Not to mention, there's so many changes that have been happening since, we can't watch every second of every stream, and we come back to different map, different countries. You know, this player shifted over here. I've been really excited to see the India and African exodus. I believe Perm and Pskov are both in India now, but I could be wrong. I don't really know all the
Yeah,
shifts.
I think those two are Mewar or Orissa. I don't know who Nepal is, and I don't know who Punjab is.
And when you walk around and you talk to the players, like I had mentioned, some of them want to tell you absolutely every, you know, piece of their expansion, all of their, you know, wheels and deals, but some of them are incredibly secretive. So I'm curious to see what a lot of these people are attempting to do. Obviously, Holland, we see what they're doing. Gaeldom is out. Oh, yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Let me just double check, because I wanted to see if there was a updated player list so I can see exactly who those nations are. So keep on looking around, Hull.
Alrighty. I don't believe that Silly is exodusing, but let's go take a peek at them. They currently are in a war.
Kind of wish the sheet was pinned somewhere.
Trying to expand. Wow, that border gore. They are very disjointed. I'm not sure what they're doing in northern Italy, but as far as ideas go...
So the Knights are now Persia, Brittany is Wasangli, Tlemcen is Tunis, Ferrara is Horsa. Okay, I'm not going to say the ones I just switched, formed a new tag. Byzantium is Akanulu. I don't know if that's... Yeah, that was super true. Here we go. Desmond is Punjab, Perm is Orissa, Sukhov, Pskov, whatever you pronounce it, is Mewar. And Dithmarschen is Mutapa. Munich, or Bavaria, is Tibet, now known as Nepal.
Oh, Livonia is in a war right now. Let's see who they're fighting. They are fighting a Lubeck. Big player war happening.
All right, let's take a look. So this was...
Oh, it's the north. Oh, gosh. So Ryazan, Lithuania, Poland, Pomerania, Lubeck, Hamburg.
So Livonia, Riga versus Lubeck, Hamburg, Poland.
This is
the
big
Lubeckian
war
conquest of
where
Danzig.
Livonia has less than half the men. Looking like a big Livonian partition is what they're hoping for.
Yeah, 51,000 infantry against 168,000 infantry. That's going to be difficult. I wonder if maybe the Pope will take this opportunity to maybe try to push north to see off a threat before it materializes. Who else could potentially be interested in seeing the ousting of the German coalition? Is Holland still aligned with them? I mean, Holland's still at war with France. They're still allied to Gotland and Hesse. Ryzan might benefit from Livonia's fall as well.
Yeah, so they can take like Neva and their coasts.
Yeah, we have a couple of Lubeck and Polish troops pushing into Danzig and that region.
Livonia bringing men. Curious to see where they're going to try to hold out. They've got wood forts, but...
I mean, they do have a lot of forts. They can do a lot of defense in depth. They can really bleed their opponents. But then their opponent, I'm guessing, is going to have pretty overwhelming naval superiority. Also, Gotland. Weren't they allied? Gotland refused the call. Gotland was the betrayer. I saw this wrong. I was expecting it to be Livonia.
Oof.
Interesting.
And Gotland is now allied to Holland, who's very strong. I can see that being a smarter decision for them. If everybody in North Germany wants Livonian land, Gotland does not want to be a part of this. Oh,
Livonia
boy.
training a lot of extra troops very, very quickly. But you know what? Gotland could have swung this, because they could have gotten the naval superiority over Lubeck, Pomerania, and Hamburg, potentially. I mean, it would probably have been relatively close.
Backstab.
But that is one hell of a backstab. Like, those two have been friends since basically the start of the game.
Yeah. And the fact that Livonia allowed Gotland to maintain their holds, and now...
Yeah, because this was absolutely, like, Livonia could have taken those Swedish territories. The islands would have been hard, but that was it.
Livonia right now losing a naval battle.
Yeah,
That's
badly.
basically their whole navy right there.
55 against 20, 20 galleys against 13, but... Yeah, they need to back out of that one. They're probably just too busy with the land fights. They did just see off a Lubeck army. They do have a 3-star general who is a 4-5-3-1 or a 2-3-4-3. I don't know which one is which. They do have additional troops moving in from the north. Maybe they'll try to cross the river into Tuchel in order to fight the 44k, and it does look like they are indeed doing that. That Lubeck currently has stacked there.
They're going in.
And they are indeed going in. 125% discipline for Livonia. Don't 5 morale against 4.4. 100% discipline against 125. Livonia's armies pack a real wallop. The only question is whether they're going to be able to keep this going. They are in a golden age, so they are artificially boosted. I don't know how long that will last.
They're only losing almost 350 a month. So, I mean, I think economically they can probably be in this for quite some time as long as they don't get all of their
They're not being subsidized yet. You know what would be a really good power play? The Papal State subsidizing Livonia to make this war last longer.
Yep. Curious to see. Ryzan has not moved in. Wonder what they're up to.
I think Ryzan might well have been truthful that they are looking to go east, not west. They're staying out of European politics. It's too dangerous. It's too cutthroat. But this could definitely have been an opportunity for them to expand into Baltic territories. Like St. Petersburg right now. Never. Currently owned by Livonia. Pretty sure that Ryzan would want that. Did the Golden League declare on Livonia? Yes, Lubeck declared on Livonia. And Gotland backed off.
Oh, there's Ryzan coming up through Poland. They are currently...
But they're not in the war, are they? Oh, no, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are. My bad. I'm surprised they're not hitting in the north. They could basically do a two-pronged war.
If you look at the diplomatic map mode, Mordred, you can see Livonia right now is completely surrounded.
Last time I looked, Ryzan wasn't in the conflict.
Oh,
it was just these
they
guys,
are
but now they
full
are
surrounded.
Yeah, it's not good.
That Gotland not helping out, even with just a little bit of naval superiority, would have made a huge difference because they could have held.
Yeah, they could have absolutely destroyed the trade capabilities. I do kind of wonder if maybe they're doing that slyly. Nope, no privateers whatsoever.
And they just broke the alliance by refusing the call, so this was definitely a backstab. Wonder how...
Meanwhile, zooming back in so we don't miss any of the actual combat action. People just maneuvering into position at the moment. It looks like the Germans are waiting for Ryzan's numbers to arrive. I do kind of wonder who's going to be in the best military shape of those guys. So Pomerania have got 100 discipline, 4.7 morale. Lubeck is 105 with 3.7, so morale is lacking. Then we got Hamburg with 104.5. Like, none of these are really military nations. Then we got Ryzan, who are 110, 3.4 morale. So the morale is kind of low, but the discipline is definitely up there. And they're facing off against 125 discipline and 5.1 morale. Like, nobody even comes close to matching that. This is just going to be purely about numbers.
Now, what's interesting is that Lubeck is the war leader. It wasn't Pomerania who declared for Danzig, so I am kind of wondering, are they planning on skipping over?
Possibly. Okay, we've got another fight coming in Tuchel. Here we go. 36k against 24k with like 70k on the way in.
Oh boy.
1,000 for 700. I mean, the numbers aren't looking great.
Oh, roll zeros.
Oh dear, oh dear. Yep, that was a bad couple. Reinforcements did arrive on time though. Oh, 1.6k losses a tick. That's gonna sting. 53,000 against 37,000. We have another 40. No, we have another 66,000 on the way in. The numbers just keep on appearing.
Wow.
They've taken, and there's going to be a second fight
gotten it.
because they got the morale replenishment. It's going to be against half of the army. They're out of position.
That's another 40k on the way.
This is a huge amount of damage that they're inflicting here. 72k against 41,000. They got another 9,000 Livonians marching in. So even though they're outnumbered by 20k, they are fighting like they have 40 extra. Look at these teams.
Yeah,
they're just like 10 to 1 kills deaths.
That morale is awful. That discipline is what a difference.
So it kind of looks like Lubeck has unleashed Livonia on them. And Gotland's got to be thinking, crap.
Uh-oh, we picked the wrong side.
Yeah. Because Livonia is going to remember that.
Oh, for sure. If they are able to continue these fights, they're absolutely going to go after Gotland. Gotland, though, seeming very secure with a Holland ally, so we'll see.
Yeah, but that's all naval power. Livonia's not going to care about the naval stuff. They're going to be like, I want mainland Sweden. Maybe Denmark if I can wrangle it, though probably not. Because like those southern Swedish territories are the richest in Sweden. Good old Skåne. And then there's also Hesse in the war, which I had not looked at either in my comparisons. Hesse with 110 discipline. Hesse is actually probably the biggest military power, 4.4 morale and 110 discipline. So it will be their troops that make the difference, and Hesse's units are there towards the back of the lines at the moment, not willing to commit too heavily to this fight, seemingly. Meanwhile, we have Provence with a almost 100% occupation of France. They did, in fact, move in to the provinces in Iberia, so my thoughts about them holding that line were not, in fact, true. Castile is now a vassal of Andalusia. Leon is still independent, and Aragon is still also independent, though they did lose a bunch more territory. Meanwhile, round 2.
Livonia bulking up their army.
Yeah, they still have 71,000 manpower. If we take a look at the differences in numbers, we're now 80k against 142k. Livonia with no cavalry, no artillery. The Lubeck side with 10k artillery.
Livonian ideas are incredibly strong militarily. They've got tradition +5 discipline, ICA +15, morale of armies +10%. Not
Someone
to mention
was saying they're militarily ahead. Yeah, so Hesse is actually Miltech behind. They're Miltech 8. Most of these guys are Miltech 9, including Ryzan. So Hesse, even though they are the strongest military power, they are 1 Miltech behind. Artillery and horses are for chumps. Well, let's take a quick look to see if I agree with that. We are currently on live.
Oh, yes, big battle coming. Ooh, let's see what
here we go. 21k against 35k. Those Lubeck troops are not going to hold out for very long. Will their allies arrive in time? Yes, they will. It's now 50k against 33, but those numbers... Oh, actually, that was a bad roll.
That general, though, 5 shock for Livonia.
Yeah. 4-5-3-1 versus a 3-3-4-0.
Ooh.
60k against 37. There's another 10k in. They've got another 30,000 sitting on the sidelines waiting. Here comes Hesse's hordes. 123,000.
First 40k.
And it's not enough
against
my
40.
Goodness. There's another 20k coming in. There are another 20k Pomeranians sitting on the sidelines. The amount of damage, like the numbers seem to be balancing a little more. It's not quite the 10-to-1 kill deaths anymore, but we are doing 2,000 for 400.
Holland renting out condos right now.
Also trying to... Wait, Holland? They're allied to Livonia. No, they're allied to Scotland.
They're allied to Scotland, but
so yeah, they're probably wanting to see Livonia suffer because they know what's going to be happening. Is going to be happening after this if Livonia win.
And Livonia still...
They are still winning.
They are still, yeah.
128,000 against 52.
Oh
and
my
it's not
God.
enough. Livonia
They held so well. That was...
So if we just take a look at the casualties inflicted. So far, Livonia has lost 63,000 to combat versus the 160,000 that they have inflicted.
Oh my goodness. How's their manpower doing?
So they're at 59,000. They do
good.
need 24,000 to reinforce. Pomerania is almost tapped. Lubeck is basically tapped. Hesse's fine, but Hesse's not been contributing as heavily. They also have called for peace against France because that is now just ticking up and up and up and up. And they must be getting impatient for Provence to damn well finish it. And Hamburg also down to 15k. So you know what? I reckon Livonia can hold this. Do they have professionalism to tap? Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
Ryzan currently creating troops. Wonder if they're going to try to back siege Livonia.
I mean, at the moment, rebels are occupying Neva, Carillion separatists. How is it looking for potential rebels for the Livonians? Yeah, they have a couple of rebels, actually fairly large stacks that are about to tick. Norwegians, 15k in Norway, 9 in Sami, and 11k Swedes, which are looking a little bit dangerous. In terms of war exhaustion, we can take a look over here. Whoa, Lubeck at 11.6 war exhaustion against Livonia's 1.3. And the Northern German coalitions, their war exhaustion is going to keep on rising because they now have a call for peace against them, and that is ticking up steadily. Can we look at the Livonian ideas? Yes, we can. So they've got fully fleshed out innovative, fully fleshed out quality. I'm guessing that they've gone with the infantry combat. 15%, yes, they have. Policy. They have 5% discipline, +2 max promoted cultures. Another 15% infantry combat. -5 dev, +10 morale, +25 trade power abroad. Stability cost, estates loyalty, the colonial range global settler, morale of navies +20, and then also tolerance of heretics. So if we actually take a look at their combat at the moment, they've got +40% infantry combat ability plus the 125% discipline.
Ugh,
This is why they don't do cavalry.
They're very scary.
Okay, so France has now pieced out. Provence has grown rather substantially, having taken Maine and Anjou as well in the process. And France is definitely looking rather weaker. Provence also staking their claim on saying, this is France, this is Europe, stay out.
Poland, out of manpower. Lubeck, out of manpower.
Right, we also didn't look at Poland, who are in this war too.
Ideas-wise, Poland has taken Inno quality. 3 ideas in each.
And their military is sitting at 100% discipline, so no changes there, and then 4 morale. So they have decent morale. Their combat abilities aren't great, and then they have +10 infantry and cavalry bonuses at the moment, because they have not yet reached the winged hussars.
Oh no, Livonia right now having rebel issues on top of this war. They seem to just be trying to stay to the south and defend themselves. Oh no, they're sending an army out.
Also, there's a very sneaky Lubeck naval invasion going on. Same with Hamburg in Norway. So they are now trying to force the Livonians to split their forces. And when you have naval superiority against a coastline this big, it's actually a really good move, because you're basically forcing your opponent to move troops away from the front line, which they really don't want to do. So this is a very nice maneuver by the naval powers. And I think they are probably also hitting the ports where the Livonian ships were docked, forcing the navies out and killing them.
Yep.
Because I have seen that happen a few times. Meanwhile, 36k, currently taking 5 attrition sitting in Königsberg. That's not great army management. I'd probably split them up a bit. But it does look like we have another wave coming in. Oh, there's a +7 on Tuchel, so they're going to need to start moving soon. And a large portion of their army is still swanning off in the north. They do have another 23,000 on the way to reinforce. They will have roughly 60,000 against the 120, 30, 40, 50,000 that may attack them.
Those numbers are looking stacked against Livonia, but with their discipline and morale advantage, we'll see what happens, because I don't know if they're going to go in on it until they can bring that other 30k down.
And here we go. Tuchel is coming in again. They've got another river crossing, but they are the defenders, so that may actually be in their favor. And there it is, -1 from the terrain. So this is just the forest, so the maneuver was high enough. And we have round 3. That is a lot of Lubeck troops dying at the moment.
Oh my gosh, that was 2 zeros in a row.
But here comes Ryzan, here comes Poland, here comes Lithuania. 80,000 against 30,000, 80,000 against 40,000.
Bringing in another 12k, 6k, and 6k.
And the morale situation is just so dire.
Look at them. Oh my gosh, a third of the men just slaughtering.
Yeah, 40,000 against 100,000. And it's still not enough.
Oh my gosh.
And Livonia is still with 40,000 manpower in the bank. We're playing with limited ledgers now, so they cannot actually see how much manpower they have left either.
Correct.
So this is just the endless pool of Livonia at the moment. 100,000, see enough? Just bye-bye.
Oh no.
Bye-bye.
Well, the Serbia has also declared on... Oh no, it's the
Austrians.
Yeah, it's the Austrians.
So Austria-Hungary finally seeing the death knells against the Serbians. Would anyone else have liked to have taken part in that? Poland? Probably, but Poland's a bit busy. Swabia? Maybe. Papal States? Maybe. Silly? Certainly. So Serbia basically just being left alone to expand and expand and expand. Nobody really seems to be doing anything about them. They're basically becoming the new Ottomans.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Allied forces seem to have backed off from Livonia.
But they are sieging down Norway currently, so... Hamburg is up there.
Livonia was allied to Austria, so they're actually at war with Serbia too.
Yeah. They're in that war, but I highly doubt that they're.
It doesn't benefit Serbia at all joining that one. In fact, they probably want Livonia to live, especially seeing how they've been performing here. They are an excellent counter to the North German alliance, apparently.
The North Germans are hurting.
What is state religion of Serbia at the moment? It is Orthodoxy.
Actually, let's take a look at the religion map mode.
Yep, because we still don't have a Reformation. The Hussites have appeared, and Silesia has become Hussite. And if we just take a very quick look at the religion map mode, we can see that there is 101% reform desire. So that is going to be ticking through. Do we have an institution? We do! Colonialism is in Balancia, which is here. Also known as Valencia. I just... Thanks, Midge.
Oh, Ryzan attempting to come into Livonia here on the border.
Yes, moving in with just a very small number, though, against the 20k. That's not really going to do anything.
Happening.
Livonia just stepping into Novgorod going, no.
Nope.
Meanwhile, rebels, though, this is where the problem's going to lie, because a lot of their back country is being taken out, and it's going to be costing them units to try to hold that back. We do actually see the Hungarian army valiantly defending Livonia, trying to get rid of some of the rebels, I think, for their benevolent allies. Meanwhile, Lubeck now sitting on a 17.6 war exhaustion. Like, several of those allies are really starting to tick up. Livonia on 1.2, so they are keeping that under very tight control. Livonia still with 24k manpower in the bank. They can still do a fair amount of slacken recruiting standards, getting another 10k a pop every time they do that. It really kind of depends on just how deep North German coalition wants to go into ridding themselves of the Livonians. Or at some point, well, they'll just go, it's not worth it, Gotland can die. Because that I am very much expecting will happen now.
Oh yeah, if Livonia makes it out of this war, they are going for Gotland. They have to be. And especially with Holland renting condos, we can kind of see where the lines are being drawn here.
Yeah, 100%. And then we'll probably see the Northern Coalition, the very far Northern Coalition, and then the Southern Coalition with the Northern Coalition stuck in between the two.
And Pope expanding into Austria. Austria in several wars at the moment. I think we're going to start to see...
Yeah, so Austria and their wars. Also, people were asking about how the colonization maps are looking at the moment. So we've got Scotland still in Florida, moving north into Georgia, sweet Georgia, and South Carolina. In fact, they just took a chunk more territory. We have got Sus somewhere. Where is Sus? I thought they were in South America. They've gone.
Oh.
So they've apparently lost their colony down there. And then Andalusia are still in the Caribbean with Barbados. Anyway, just to make sure that we're not losing any time here, there is still a little bit of maneuvering going on in the north. We have 9k Livonians trying to retake the territories. We've got 12k Hamburgers currently trying to take territories in Norway. And then 60, 70k just kind of hanging out on the edges. Livonia, meanwhile, have taken out 1,700 ducats in loans, which is actually only 8. Is Livonia one of the great powers? Tunis is now number 2, followed by Holland, then the Pope, then Serbia, then Ryzan.
Rebels are actually retaking the siege down Norwegian provinces, which is not helping the war effort here.
No, Hamburg definitely feeling like they're being a bit sneaky by taking territories out, but did Hamburg just die? I don't see their stack anymore. Lubeck still got their units in the north. I wonder if those are Marines. Just regular old infantry. That's the kind of job you can give to Marines because they disembark quickly. So you can jump off, take a few provinces, jump back on the ships, sail somewhere else, jump off, take a few provinces. And then just keep your opponent chasing after you, because transports move quicker than ground forces.
Oh, Persia has finally converted to Zoroastrian.
Oh, nice.
Excellent. They were at 50% the last time that we looked at them, so it's taken them quite a bit, but they finally made it.
Take a look at that in a minute. We'll do that now because it looks like the others are just angling for position. So Zoroastrian, trade efficiency, tolerance to the true faith. And what else is it special that these guys give?
So they currently, do they have any of the Zoroastrian centers?
Shirvan must be Zoroastrian. So they just need to do a bunch of converting. So they control two of them, Kiva and Shirvan.
Oh, Lubeck has moved into Danzig, probably trying to take their war goal, but it looks like Livonia is going...
Yeah, so that is actually a pretty good move, because the war score is definitely ticking against them, and that may reset it. And it will force Livonians to go and fight in Danzig, potentially getting a river crossing if they don't go into Two Shell first.
Looks like that's what they're waiting for, though.
Yeah.
They don't seem too keen on fighting anywhere that is not defensive.
Yep. They want that +1 from the forests, even if it means giving up the war goal.
Curious to see where Ryzan troops are.
Zoro has the insane monument. Yes, that is the other thing I wanted to take a look at. I need to keep an eye on this because player war, but also I want to see what the monument does. In fact, do you want to go and look that up?
Yes, yes.
What does that monument do again? Let's remind ourselves.
Excellent. Sure can. Sure, Van.
Haha!
Thank you, finally.
Mordred showed the Livonian Tier 1 government reform. Oh, wow. Livonian Militarist Monarchy. Great name, too. Dev cost -5, monthly war exhaustion -0.05, which is why they've had so little problems with that. Monarch military skill +2, governing capacity -50, and then nobility, loyalty, equilibrium +10. Those are some pretty nice bonuses. So Danzig has now fallen, so the war score has dropped to just 5, and it will now start ticking against the Livonians.
So the Zoroastrian monument is discipline +10, culture conversion cost -10, land fire damage +5, fire damage received -10.
Yeah, it's a really nice military buff to have, and Persia's already got a pretty decent military.
They
They
are
also get the
not
Prussian
currently
military.
converting that province. They seem to be focusing elsewhere right now. Persia in a war against the Mams and Cherans as well, so could be they're just sort of saving. But they're snaking. They're doing a very big snaky snake.
Mini snakes. So yes, chat also pointed out that Livonia is basically a mini Prussia. They also get militarization mechanic, which they have maxed out, and it is still going up. So manpower recovery +20%, land maintenance -20, and then of course the +10 discipline, which is why their armies just hit so hard.
Livonia not being baited onto Danzig, so they now are getting their ticking war score.
Yes, although here we go, they're moving. 37k moving into Two Shell. Are they going to go into Danzig? Taking a look around to see who they're going to be up against potentially. 3-star general. They still have the 4-3-5.
Oh, they're going for it.
4-5-3-1.
And that's with a river crossing, so we'll see.
That is with a river crossing. I don't know if that's the smartest move.
Oh, they're taking on both battles.
Okay.
So they can try to split it up.
37,000 in Königsberg, which is a forest. So they will be taking the forest hit there, but their units are strong enough, and they're going to be blocking the Danzig from reinforcements, because Two Shell, of course, being a fort, will stop anything getting through. So they may even stack wipe. No, not quite.
Not quite, but this could be 2 victories, depending on...
This will be 2 victories, because as soon as the 40,000 are done with the 30,000, they'll turn around and moving into Königsberg.
They might not even need them. That battle is...
In fact, they probably shouldn't, because then they'll be taking the forest. They just need to win the fight in Danzig and then back off. Nope, they are.
Oh, they're going
They're
for
going
it.
in. So will their troops be able to hold until the reinforcements arrive? It kind of looks like... Yes,
oh,
yes, they
they're
did.
making it.
Boom, 25,000 against 100,000, another 32,000 on the way in. Nope, they're backing off. I think they've decided, you know what, this fight is not worth it. We don't want the -1. The fort in Two Shell is going to be taking Danzig back again automatically. That was a pretty nice move going for the war goal, though. Having that as a non-fort province has its benefits. And then Holland's like, you know what, guys, I got this. You know what, guys, I don't got this.
Ryzan still has 15k manpower. Poland at 0.
Yeah, Livonia's down to 29k with another
That's at 30.
27k required to reinforce. So Livonia are now almost tapped. They're gonna need to start tapping into the professionalism. Ooh, Moldavia. That is a lot of pretender rebels.
Ooh, the fort in Tuchel being sieged down.
Yeah, 21%. So they have still got a fair amount of time. Do they have the defensive bonus active in here? No. Yes, they do. Good. Can, of course, use the edict for the extra defensiveness just to make it extra painful for your opponents to take it.
Lubeck's got 1.5 right now, sieging down North Livonia.
Yeah, that 1.5 has just been zipping around, just like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Perm is kaput, yes. Perm have repositioned themselves somewhere else.
They are in India, I believe?
Yeah, they are. Nepal?
I don't
Livonia
recall.
just received the last jousting tournament event, which I believe is one of the mechanics with the Caesar, where he can give even more military capabilities. And of course, here in the background, people are going to be exchanging favors, so Livonia might well be cashing in some favors with the Emperor for a bit of assistance.
Sicily has expanded. They are no longer 100% disjointed.
Here we go, Livonia going into Tuchel again, 37k against 44k. They are definitely whittling their opponents down. Their opponents taking 1.3k casualties against the 400 that they themselves are taking, and again, they are just demolishing them. However, their opponents are starting to fill out the back row with artillery. This stage of the game, artillery is still kind of rubbish, except at sieging, but it is that little bit extra. It's those extra little percentage points that will be boosting the forces up a bit more.
These rolls are not in the favor of the North Germans either.
No, they're not. That was a 7 against a 0, 9 against a 1. Ouch. And the 40k is holding out against the 120. And they're even sitting there with an 18, like, we don't need them.
Yep.
We got this. So 113 against 36. We've got another 6k moving in to reinforce. The Dutch have also entered the fray. 1.6k against 800. And it looks like the Dutch were the last ones to stand, but they will also soon be sent running. Artillery in the front line.
Hamburg does not seem to be too committed to this war, but Lubeck is now suffering their own separatists.
Yes, they are. If we just take a quick look at the rebel factions, we can see that Hamburg's got 4 different factions on the rise. Lubeck's got, 26k that are about to rise up. Fraticelli heretics. So that's going to be causing some problems because they already have 20k in their country. Then we've got Pomerania here. No rebels problems of their own. Hesse, 19k about to rise up. So in the same way that Livonia's had a lot of problems with rebel uprisings, it kind of looks like that is a problem that's... Oh, they spawned on where they retreated to. 20k.
Oh, no.
This stack wipe? No, they've got enough. They've got enough. But man, that could have been bad. 60k could have just... dead. They managed to hold it, and that was actually kind of lucky because that was the really big 26k Fraticelli heretic spawn.
Rebel bombed. Brutal.
So there we go. What could have been. Meanwhile, Livonia splitting their armies up again, making sure they can get the right composition for the reinforcement waves. Moldavia still struggling. Serbia.
Livonia also has Norwegian and Swedish separatists.
Yep.
So we'll see.
In fact, let's take a look at Livonia. Are those separatists any danger?
Not yet.
They're almost halfway to forcing the issue. Rebels breaking the country, less than half. They're probably okay on that. The other thing to point out is the war against Austria. Scilly pieced out and gained a bunch of lands from that. So Scilly looks to be becoming the new Austria, the new South German nation.
Serbia just going big. Probably going to take a bunch of Hungarian land.
So far, relations apparently between Serbia and the Papal States have been very cordial. I wonder if that's going to remain true, because nobody, absolutely nobody, has been stopping Serbia from just growing and growing and growing and growing. That's going to be a problem soon.
Take a look at Moldavia. They've got pretender rebels. Oh, that's not a big deal. Okay, never
It's
mind.
not a huge one, although they're about to lose their army to those pretenders, 5k against 20. That's not going to be very good for you there, guys. However, the rebel problem for Livonia continues to grow. They do still have a couple more rebel factions about to spawn. They've got 28,000 rebels still in their land. In fact, we haven't looked at the kill deaths of the Lubecian conquest of Danzig for a little while. So Livonia has now lost 152,000 troops, which is quite a few.
Still less
But
than
they
half.
have inflicted, bearing in mind they stand alone and are horribly outnumbered, 374,000 casualties inflicted.
And Ryzan, low war enthusiasm. Poland, low war enthusiasm. Lubeck, low war enthusiasm.
Lubeck, 20 war exhaustion.
Oof.
Hamburg, 5.
Hamburg is, though, landed 10k. They seem to be trying to back siege Livonia. They know that they cannot get past that Tuchel fort, so...
Livonia's pushing in.
Yep.
They've gone for Neue Königsberg.
31% war score, 30%.
Livonia looks like they're going to be taking this. Gotland's probably really starting to sweat a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
How is the Gotland Empire looking in the Caribbean? They are still expanding. They're still a bit spotty, going mostly for the centers of trade, which makes a lot of sense. You want to nail those down as quickly as you can. Meanwhile, Sus, where is your colonist? Calusa. Are you trying to make enemies?
Oh, no.
They've gone for the one little province in Florida that was not colonized by Scotland. And Scotland's just probably staring at them going, what? Why you do this?
Who are Scotland's allies?
Oh, I mean, it was, so that's Scotland.
Still France. I mean, they can... France has been definitely weakened, but if they needed to do a sus war...
Yeah, they definitely could. And if the war goal was just that one province, Scotland would just sit on it and be like, oh, I'm just going to wait.
Yep.
I can wait this one out. And Sus gains nothing. And there we go. Neukönigsberg has now fallen to the Livonians. They are stopping with that one gain. Basically just the middle finger saying, you're what, mate? What you going to do about it? Take it back?
I wonder if they're going to try to head north up to...
I think they have to. So I think what they've done is taken Neukönigsberg to act as an alarm, so that if significant numbers of Lubeck forces arrive there, then they can just start moving south again.
It looks like they're trying to siege down Poland.
They are going to have to go a long way around to do it. Yes, they are. Poland.
Probably try to get Poland to peace out, whittle down the alliance.
So if we take a look at the casualties suffered by each faction, Ryzan is easily the one that's bled the most with 108,000, looking for Poland, 35. So of those nations, Poland is probably the one that has kind of contributed the least. Hamburg, the only one that has contributed less, though it's close, only about 200 men.
Brutal.
And Poland, I was going to say have the least gain from this, but no, they probably have the second most.
And Ryzan, I am not seeing their involvement at this point. It could have been very easy for them to try to also go siege down in the north, but...
Yeah, Ryzan have lost 100,000 men. They are the biggest contributor to the casualties suffered.
They just, yeah.
And they are actually completely tapped for manpower.
Cannot stand against the morale and discipline here.
So they are actually kind of lucky that Moldavia is down and out. Because Moldavia, if they were still in strong position, are probably looking at them going, huh.
Is Moldavia still bankrupt? Let me go take a peek.
See that. Nope, they're not bankrupt.
Are they? Are they no longer a player? No.
No, they're not.
No, they are not. Okay.
Spotted. Yeah, I think I was going to say a player probably would have dealt with the Pretender Rebels, probably by giving in to them. Meanwhile, we've got another fight. The first one on Polish soil, 40,000 of the Livonians' best against 60,000 Poles and associated allies. They do have another like 50k in the surrounding areas with another 20k of the Livonians. There is a -1 or a +1 rather because of the forest for the German coalition, 40k against 100, 20,000 reinforcements, 20,000 reinforcements. The Dutch standing by, ready to commit. And there they go, 15,000 going in, 43,000 against 107. The reinforcement stacks of the Livonians getting smaller and smaller. This time it is looking a little bit closer. They are still holding the front line pretty effectively, and their reinforcement waves are very well timed, it must be said. They clearly have a lot of multiplayer combat experience. Now they're getting the 10-to-1 kill deaths. 100,000 about.
Was that a... Oh, no, okay. Oh, I thought it was. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you think it was
This
a
is why I
stack
stopped
too?
speaking. I was like, oh.
Just took a minute for the retreat.
A little bit of processing
Ooh,
there.
ooh.
And there we go. It looks like the first of the Polish fort, Plock, is about to be plucked by the Livonians. 21% war score. Oh, we got an out of sync.
Oh, uh-oh.
Little heart attack there. Yeah, 100%.
That out of sync. Yeah, a lot of processing. Game is just murdering men.
Livonia's still
Looking
got
like
manpower.
the Norwegian separatists are killing that little 1K Lubeck army that was kind of tromping around trying to siege.
Okay, against one. And the independent separatist movement not really gaining a lot of traction at the moment.
It's actually better to have them right now to deal with these little siege stacks that they've got going on, little carpet sieging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Looks like we are going to continue regardless of the out of sync. So Lubeck has paid down some of their war exhaustion, but we now have Hamburg at 5, Hesse at 2, Lithuania at 8, Poland at 3, Ryzan at 4. Livonia has now risen to 3.4, probably because of all of the occupations increasing the war exhaustion. But Plock is about to fall. I do kind of wonder if they're going to be like, hey, Poland, is this really worth it?
Livonia still has professionalism. They could slacken one more time if they have to.
That's a good question. How many players are actually against Livonia right now? Lubeck, Hamburg, Hesse, Poland, Pomerania, Ryzan, 6v1. And the southern powers, the Papal States, Serbia, are probably looking at North Germany going, you're kind of weak.
Yeah. That does not look good, especially after this war. I'd like to see what happens.
You know what? Because we have seen how the Dutch have behaved in the past, I would not be surprised if we see a couple of Dutch backstabs soon.
Yep, especially with Gotland. Now knowing that Livonia is probably going to turn around and go for that.
And you know what? That may even hold Livonia's hand. If they see Britain, if they see the Netherlands and Gotland going after the North Germans, Livonia might go, you know what? I'll wait.
The only thing that keeps Gotland safe is that they have moved their capital.
Yeah, but the sheer number of occupations, like that's got to be a good 60 or 70% of the development.
They can do an exodus if they necessarily had to, because
I mean,
they are going super colonial.
Pretty sure they're planning to anyway.
Yeah.
So that land is losable, and I don't think they would really care if they lost it, except maybe for Copenhagen, just because of the amount of trade they could get from that. Although, actually, let's take a look at that, because they're up against so many other trading powers. Holland actually controls 22% of that node. Gotland controls only 5%, so they're going to be making negligible.
Chat, if you are curious about any of the rule sets, who is playing which nation, there are panels below the stream that have links to all of the information. So click them and you should be able to see. I believe they are being updated. Of course, nations drop and pick up, so it may not be in real time, but you will be able to see who is playing which nation. Also, if you do the Grandest Lan ! Grandest Lan command, you will be also able to see that as well. Midge, can you open that? I'm not strong enough for these European water bottles, it seems.
So the war score now sits at 51%. Definitely looks like Poland is starting to be invaded. There we go. There goes Piast Deep, which is also the Polish capital. It has just fallen to the forces of Livonia. And Poland itself is starting to suffer some separatist issues of their own. Where were you when the Piast wall fell?
Livonia standing on Danzig, not going to let the North Germans come in. Going to keep that. It is farmlands, though, so they don't have defensive bonus, but I don't think at this point they're feeling too much pressure.
Shizhezhin. So one of the objectives that players had was to rename provinces after the Caesar, so I kind of wonder if that's Polish for Caesar.
Oh, it could be.
And I wonder if one of Caesar's names was Piast. Because he had like 10 different names. Nope. Okay, apparently not. Shizhezhin is a town on the Czech border. Okay, so that place is legit.
Wow.
But then why is it renamed Krakow? Unless they've just renamed it that. Piast is the name of Poland's dynasty. Right, but the Caesar has names from about 10 different dynasties, where he's basically just merged all of the big European ones. And one of them might well be Piast. So Hamburg still occupying a fair old chunk of Livonia in the Swedish territories. The war does seem to have gotten to a bit of a stalemate. Poland's out of
Poland is trying to retake their capital, but it looks like Livonia is coming back down.
Yeah, and this is a farmland province, so there wouldn't be any military bonuses. And in fact, if Poland's trying to retake that, and they are only being supported by Pomerania, half of the coalition's armies are now separated. This is a great opportunity for the Livonians to divide and conquer. Death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah, Poland seems to have sensed that something might be on the way, and are backing off. This could actually be an opportunity for the armies of Livonia to head north and maybe reclaim some of these territories, because Hamburg still has 12k that's just carving some damage. In fact, they've got 30k in Sweden and Norway, fighting the war by other means, trying to go after the economy of Livonia and their ability to maintain this war. They are losing 21 ducats a month at the moment, although they do still have over $1,000 in the bank, so they should be able to continue that for a while.
Livonia losing men to attrition. They've lost 201k troops versus the North Germans 450k.
But the attrition's a bit closer at 34k versus 48.
Yep, going back into Tuchel.
You think that they're getting stab hit? Poland or Lubeck? Can you even stab hit miners? Don't know about that one.
Oh, no, backing off. They decided, no, we do not want that smoke.
Been
Understandable.
hit, done that 5 times, don't want to do it again.
Understandable, okay.
How's the Zoroastrian conversion going? That's a good question. So the Zoroastrian conversion is going slow. In fact, if we take a look at Persia, go to the religion overview, take a look at the...
They still have not started converting their Great Project.
Still at 100 religious unity, so I can't really tell.
Oh,
Netherlands formed.
Switzerland is at war again. They are being invaded by the Pope. That's probably the end for Switzerland. Unfortunately, they hung in there after that last war. Oh, that's a big battle. Okay.
Big fight. We've got 30k -3 against 55. It does look like the Swiss morale is going to hold 4.3 morale against 4.4. 120 discipline against 110. We have seen armies fighting with similar quality elsewhere. They just don't have the deep pockets that Livonia did to continue this war.
Unfortunately.
But they are inflicting 10-1 casualties at the moment.
Curious.
50k against 50k. This is going to be close. Ah, but reinforcements arrived at the 11th hour, and it does look like the Swiss are going to be sent packing. The Swiss don't have anywhere to run. Every single one of their provinces is held. And it does look like the armies are going to move in to stack wipe the 26k as soon as they can. Is it going to be a month tick? Just too late.
Oh, no. Meanwhile, Livonia is now sieging down Poland, probably trying to get them to peace out. So it's looking like it is not going in the North German alliance's favor.
Not at all. So the Pomeranians have sent some troops in to go after Neukönigsberg, as I thought they might do. They've got a few troops sitting on Tuchel, but it's not going to be enough to actually take anything, while the Livonian armies have split up a bit more. Let's just take another look at the separatism. It actually looks like the independence movements are going further and further back, so
Switzerland
less
just
of a problem there.
Lost another battle, looking like they may get a stack wipe here.
I'm actually a little surprised it didn't already.
Oof.
So it's another -2. So the Pope keeps on taking these fights, but I understand why, because they're so close to ultimate victory.
Yeah, you've got to chase them.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. That's it for
Got away
Switzerland. You
again.
know, the fact that they hung in, though, after that last war, very good.
Kudos to Switzerland.
Oh,
100%.
that was
There
the
it
stack
is.
wipe. There it is. Oh,
Salzburg
no.
got it.
Switzerland left with no allies. Nobody was coming for them. We knew it was a matter of time, but they did hang in there. I wonder how they are going to carve up these provinces. I assume Provence going to take the west. Definitely going to have the Papal States probably take their Italian borders.
Just to interrupt for a moment, Tuchel is actually down to 35%, about to fall.
And where's Livonia?
Livonia is on the move, but are they leaving this one a bit too late? They're getting kind of greedy, taking out more and more of Poland, but they may be losing their border fort if they do this. No, they've retreated.
And
They're like, you know what? No, we couldn't do it. There's the 14k about to march in. I don't think they'll catch anyone. No, they didn't.
We've got Ryzan, though, taking forts. Wonder if Livonia is going to head up north.
Yeah, Livonia's definitely made a bit of a diplomatic strategic blunder, not sending one of their stacks north. I think they really should have. Somebody just pieced out.
Some players are saying that there is a bug with armies that can be moved or merged. Diviet. So hopefully that will be a rehost, because that could be very problematic. Oh, boy.
I was laughing at chat saying, why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you running? I don't have an answer. I'm not sure why they were running away from that.
And Livonia still 8k manpower.
Yep, they have been tapping into their professionalism. In fact, most of it is gone. They had 30%, now they're down to 10. So they can tap it one more time, and then they are out of manpower. Although they do still
tap it twice.
Yeah, you're right. It's 5% each time. I was thinking it was 10. It's not.
They can tap twice.
Yep. Mercenaries. How are they doing in terms of mercenaries? Because they haven't actually been spending a huge amount of money on this war. It's kind of surprising. They do still have quite a few mercenaries available that they could call upon if they needed to. The mercenary company that they do have, the Prussian Volunteers, 4k stack is out of manpower. Is that the only mercenary they have?
Livonia only has 12 loans, 5 of them burghers, so 7. I mean, they can be in this war for a long time, and if they keep burning their professionalism, I don't see it being an issue. They are fully sieged down up north between Hamburg and rebels, but they are on the Tuchel fort now, 14%, so Livonia needs to make a decision. Do they want to split their troops? I mean, that's what it seems like they're doing.
It kind of feels like their opponent made the decision for them by splitting their own troops.
Yep.
So I feel like Livonia can now afford to do so. They keep 30 or 40k at home and send 20k to just go and knock out everybody up north. Then they just leave a 1 or 2k stack just to retake each province.
It looks like they are consolidating for the Tuchel fort, though.
Yes, it does. I think that is actually a mistake. Like,